Hi, monkeys. Here we are again and ready for another circle time. But we have a new letter. Before we start that, let's see if everybody's here. Hello, Connor. Hello, Holden. Hello, Liam. Hello, Bryce. Hello, Jameson. Hello, Shay. Hello, Marianne. We're glad you're here today. Hello, Brooklyn. Hello, Harper. Hello, Gemma. I'm glad you're here today. Welcome, monkeys. Our letter today is do you know what letter that is? Many of you have that in your name. Let's see, Holden has this letter in his name. Bryce has this letter in his name. Jameson has this letter in his name. Marianne has this letter in her name. And Harper has this letter in her name. And Gemma has this letter in her name. I hope I didn't forget anyone. The letter today is an E. An E sounds like or just like its letter sound, it sounds like an E. Sometimes mom and dad might type a letter on the computer to send to someone, and we call it an E. If you guessed email, you are correct. This is the edge of my paper. This shape is a what? At Easter, we color these. They get hidden in the grass, and then we go on a hunt. We would be hunting for eggs. I'm thinking of a large animal that's gray. He has a long trunk, and you find him at the zoo. Did you guess elephant? If you read books about Winnie the Pooh, he has some special friends. One is a blue donkey, and his name is Eeyore. If I wanted to do some math, I would say 1 plus 1 more equals 2. 1 plus 1 more equals 2. Sometimes I might write with a pencil and I might make a mistake. So I turn it over and I use the eraser. If I wanted to mail something to someone, I would take it and I would put it in an envelope and put a stamp on it and put it in a mailbox. We hear with our ears. We see with our eyes. Okay, I'm thinking of the little people who help Santa build the toys. We had one of those little guys spend some time in our classroom. He was an elf. Let me think of something else. This would be my elbow. Good job. And let's see if you remember. Anybody know what number this is? Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's an 11 and it starts with an E. Everyone here is going to listen to my story about Easter. E for Easter. But before we do that, I want to see how your numbers are doing. This number is the number, did you guess it? You should all know 1 through 10 by now. The number 7. But we're working on teen numbers, so if I put a 1 in front of that 7, you guessed it, it is a 17. So I am ready now to share with you the real name of the Easter Bunny. Your mom and dad might not even know this, but I'm going to share with you a story about the Big Bunny and the Easter eggs. pages get stuck and I have to get my fingers. Wilbur was a very large rabbit, very big and very tall. He had great big ears and great big feet. That was why he was chosen to be the Easter Bunny. He was strong enough to carry lots of baskets. His legs were long enough for him to cross the road in a single jump. And because he delivered the eggs the night before Easter, no one ever saw him. Because everyone knows you're not supposed to see the Easter Bunny. This Easter, Wilbur had done everything early. He had made the baskets, colored the eggs with pretty designs, filled them with jelly beans and chocolate candy. Everything was ready to go. But the night before Easter, Wilbur got sick. His head was stuffed up, his nose was runny, his throat was sore, and he had a fever. His eyes were red and his ears hurt. He laid on his bed and groaned. Who was going to deliver the Easter baskets? Hours went by, and it was getting very late. Wilbur's rabbit's friends came and banged on his door. "Wilbur," shouted Hector. "Wilbur, you have to get going." "Wilbur," said Francine. "Wilbur, it's after midnight." "Wilbur," said Charles and Henrietta. "Wilbur, if you don't get up and get going, the children won't have any Easter eggs." "I know," moaned Wilbur, "but I can't get up. I'm too sick." Wilbur's friends banged on the door some more, but Wilbur was too sick to listen. He took more medicine and went back to sleep. Charles and Henrietta talked things over with Hector and Francine. Something had to be done. If Wilbur wasn't going to deliver the Easter eggs, they would have to deliver them for him. They loaded themselves up with Easter baskets. The baskets were so heavy they could hardly walk because they were just small rabbits. The four of them struggled through the woods. "Hector," said Francine, "I can barely see." "That's okay, just try to follow me." As they went through the dark woods, at that moment, Francine bumped into Hector, Hector bumped into Charles, and Charles bumped into Henrietta. Dozens of Easter baskets crashed to the ground. Broken eggs went everywhere. Everywhere's another E word. "I think," said Charles, "we'll have to come up with a better plan." He and Henrietta went to get her red wagon. Hector and Francine helped them load it with Easter baskets. When it was piled high, the four of them pulled the red wagon to the road. Suddenly, the wagon hit a rock and turned over. The Easter baskets were scattered everywhere. "I don't think we can do this," said Hector. It will almost be morning," said Charles. "We'll have to get Wilbur up," said Henrietta. Look at that wagon, all dumped over with all the Easter eggs. When his four rabbit friends got back to his burrow, Wilbur was still asleep. They pounded on his door again. "Wilbur, you've got to deliver the eggs yourself." "Wilbur, there isn't much time left." Wilbur laid in bed grumbling. He blew his nose and coughed. Hector and Francine ran into the burrow and dumped him on the floor out of bed. "All right," he said. "All right, I'm coming." He put on his earmuffs, his scarf, and his favorite jacket to keep warm. He put an ice pack on his head and a nice big handkerchief in his pocket. And he tucked a hot water bottle under his arm. "Hurry," they said. "Hurry, Wilbur." Wilbur shuffled to the door. "I'm going to do this because it's my duty, but you're going to have to help me." "Of course," said his friends. Together they helped him load himself up with Easter baskets. In a moment they were all around his arms and his legs. Finally he was ready. He struggled into the woods with his friends, pulling the red wagon behind him. He knew he'd have to hurry. It was almost daytime. But his head hurt and his body ached. His nose was running and his cough was getting worse. Look at, he's all loaded up with all those eggs. Oops, gotta turn that page. He thumped up to the first house. Everyone was fast asleep. He left 2 big baskets on the front porch. So far, so good. At the next house, he crept in quietly to a little boy's room and left a basket by his bed. When he got back outside, the sun was rising and a paper boy was bicycling into the driveway. Wilbur froze. He was much too tired to run, and the paper boy might see him. But just then, his friends helped him out. Francine jumped up and grabbed a newspaper from the boy. She tossed it to Hector. The 2 of them thumped away with his papers. "Hey," he yelled, "come back with my papers." And he chased them away so Wilbur could escape. That's another E word, escape. When the group got back together, Wilbur had caught his breath and he thanked his friends for helping him. But before he knew it, he was in trouble again. 3 hours later, he was leaving a little girl's room when he had to sneeze. Achoo! When he sneezed, she sat up in bed. He dove under her bed. Do you see his feet sticking out from under the bed? Let's see. There we go. But his 2 friends jumped up and pulled the blanket over her head so he could escape out of her room. But Wilbur's troubles were not over. "Hurry, Wilbur, hide behind that tree." A barking dog saw him and started to chase him. Then a policeman almost caught him, but his friends distracted the policeman. "Quick, under the sheet." He dove under the sheet when a man reached out to get something off his front porch. With so much hiding and diving to do, Wilbur left a lot of baskets in a lot of strange places. But finally they were all delivered, and Wilbur was so tired, his friends pulled him home in the red wagon. When the children started looking for their Easter baskets, they found them in bushes, under flowers, on fence posts, hanging from trees. It was the strangest Easter they'd ever seen, but it was the most fun Easter they'd ever seen. And that is how we got the tradition of looking for Easter eggs in very funny places in our yard. Because our Easter bunny, who we've all just learned, his name is Wilbur, is the one who hides our eggs. So I'm going to back the camera up just a little bit and give you just a couple of things that maybe you could be doing, that maybe you could do at home. So one thing that I have for you is a chicken and egg. That egg, Mom and Dad, is about 11 inches in height and about 8 inches at the wide part. If you just draw a zigzag and then, my friends, marker the top part of the egg in yellow, and you could even take anything. I cut up little strips of paper, and if I put it really close, can you see them? I don't know. And I covered that all over so it could kind of look like feathers, or you could use yellow feathers or yellow tissue paper to glue all over your chickie. Then if you take a little square piece of paper and you fold that square in two, because we know that 2 triangles can make a square, then you can add a beak to your chickie and then 2 black eyes. You can color them. You all know how to use scissors. You could cut them out of a black paper. You could use a thumbprint dipped in paint. Lots of different ways you can do that. Something else that you could do would be cut up some fabric or scrapbook paper and glue them onto a collage egg shape. Remember when you're doing that, how we've talked about there are two sides of a fabric. There is a bright side, and there's a right side that's kind of bright and pretty, and the wrong side is kind of washed out. It doesn't look as bright and pretty, but if you turn it over, it is. So when you put your scrapbook paper down or your material down, you want to take just a minute and see which side would be the right side to use. Those are just a couple of ideas that I had for you for Easter. I wish all of you a happy Easter, and also thought, oh, what about our bunny? Here is a bunny with ears so funny, and here is his hole in the ground. When a noise he hears, he perks up his ears and he jumps in the hole in the ground. If you wanted to do the Easter bunny hop, you could stand in a line with your family, put your hands on the person in front of you's shoulders, and someone behind you will put their hands on your shoulders, and you can do the bunny hop. Put your right foot out, put your left foot out, do the bunny hop. Hop, hop, hop. Stick your right leg out, stick your left foot out, do the bunny hop. Hop, hop, hop. And that finishes our story time and our activity time. Have a wonderful Easter. I hope that you have a beautiful time and that we can see each other soon. Bye-bye.